Plaintiff Sherry Zavala says after she married the defendant, he started mixing alcohol and pain pills, and it made him paranoid. Sherry claims the defendant constantly accused her of cheating, and the last straw was when he accused her of having an affair with his friend. She's suing for breach of contract. Defendant Scott Poor says he loves Sherry and has since the day they met, but he insists she drank right along with him. Scott claims after Sherry asked him to stop drinking, he did so because he wanted to make their marriage work. But he says it's clear that she no longer cares about him.
Start with you.
I married Scott in February of 2009. Started to realize there might be a problem when I didn't take my coat off at the wedding.
Over? What did you say about it?
Yeah, we got married at just the piece, and I left my coat on during the entire wedding, which I didn't even realize I had done. And my family pointed out later that maybe there was a little foreshadowing. I wasn't really ready for this.
You're just excited. Go ahead.
Yeah. So as the marriage, we were married for 6 years. As the marriage progressed, Scott's drinking increased, and then he was also taking prescription pain management, which made him more and more paranoid as the marriage went on.
Why'd you drive the man to drinking? What'd you do?
I've got gifts. I don't know. I don't know. He drank before,
your observation about your husband. What did you observe that may have caused that?
You know, there's a lot of alcoholism in his family, and I think it was just a propensity. He drank before. He has 2 other marriages that fell apart. Drinking was a big one on his second one, and it just seemed to increase.
Pain pills? Had he had an accident, or was
no,
it legitimate?
He has a bad heart, and then he also has arthritis. He's developed arthritis.
Did you ever see him in pain before, without medicine?
He complained. He was ill every day. There was always something wrong.
Well, all right. Well, then that's what the pain pills were for.
Yes.
All right. Make it seem like he's drunk and a dope fiend. And you're slow about answering now.
It just feels awfully crass, but it...
What do you mean? The way I'm saying it?
Yes.
You want me to pretty it up?
Well,
all right, you make it sound like the man drank a little more often than he should have.
Yes, he did.
And he was taking pain pills 1 or 2 a day more than he should have.
At least, yes.
And it made him a little more lightheaded than perhaps he should have been.
Actually,
it just happened to have been every hour.
It made him a lot more paranoid. So he began accusing me of having affairs. I traveled a lot for work. I was on the road every other week. And so I would do my events and come straight back to my hotel just so that when we had phone calls, there was nothing in the background so that I didn't have to answer for it. So finally, after the grand finale was we were invited to an old boss of mine. We were invited to his home for dinner. I asked Scott not to drink. He basically stuck a nipple on a vodka bottle, and he was falling asleep on the couch. It was embarrassing and ridiculous. His best friend from Montana was with us. We got in the car and came home. When we got home, Scott began accusing me of having an affair with his best friend. So within 3 days of that event, I was done. And
did you ever suggest to him treatment?
I tried everything.
And he said no?
He said no. He didn't think he had a problem.
Never once brought up. It was never once brought up. And I begged. I loved the woman and have since the day I met her, and still do, regardless of all this. And as far as making a joke about what I ended up with, as we both drank, and don't, you know, you can put lipstick on a pig or whatever that saying is, but she drinks plenty herself. The bottom line is I was under management. The reason I was sick all the time was when one of the medications made me sick. And since I haven't been taken, I haven't been sick.
And that's
she
why
asked me to quit
that.
drinking, and I quit drinking and taking the medicine. I asked her to be a nice person and be a little kindness of her heart. I was in the hospitals on a couple occasions where I saw my wife in a half an hour in a whole week. So maybe the coat was foreshadowing, but I don't think that's funny at all.
Okay. And that's why now speaking to her in a way that might allow her to be a little sympathetic, because When I asked her questions about why you took pain pills, so what I'm gonna be, if you weren't sympathetic towards your husband, why should I be? Yeah, so that's why I said, what'd you think? He was a drunk and a dope fiend? Or was he someone in need of medication because of his constant pain? So don't come in acting like I'm the bad guy. You the bad guy for leaving the man knowing that he had pain all the time. Go ahead, sir. What else you want to tell me?
I take full responsibility of where I ended up on it and whatnot. And of all the things in the world, my first family, I was married for 25 years and perhaps similar situation, but everything's different. Each marriage was different. It doesn't change anything about how I feel about her. It's just that obviously she doesn't care about me. So this case boiled down to a situation.
Well, before we get into the case, let me ask, are you in recovery for?
No, and I was told that I wouldn't be able to do this and this and this, and boop, right down the road. I didn't want to do it anymore. Obviously, I would never want to continue to hurt her because we still have some
hurt
things
yourself,
to take.
more importantly. I'm talking about recovery from your abuse.
Yeah, and I think when we talk about a little bit of heart, this and that, I've had triple bypass surgery at the age of 39. I've had 7 stents. I've had back surgery that was bad enough they had to go through my stomach.
And chronic
so
arthritis.
I have a couple things, okay?
But I'm saying
but
about whatever abuse you admit to having, are you in recovery from it, or do you need some help from us?
No, I'm
That's
doing
my
well,
point.
sir.
You sound sincere. A lot of people who abuse drugs and come in here, they don't sound like they have any intention of quitting. They continue to victimize other people. They won't admit that they have a problem. Those are the folks I kind of go in on.
I understand.
Folks like you, I offer recovery, and I congratulate on fighting it. Whether you ever relapse or not, I have no idea. But I congratulate you on fighting what you've been through with your alcohol and drug problem. Let's get to the specifics of the $4,000, ma'am.
So we went through our divorce. He took our pool business that we had built. So he got that in the divorce. With that, he got the reserve line of credit that was with it, and there was a $4,000 balance on that.
There was $5,000.
Let it finish, sir.
The account wasn't closed, so my name wasn't removed from it, which I became aware of in January. And he was making payments. I wasn't worried about it. What I wasn't paying attention to, where he would make a payment and then the payment would get returned. So he made one for like $260 in January. It was returned. And then
meaning a bad check?
Yeah, exactly, or insufficient funds at some point. So finally, in March, I received a call from the bank saying that they were unable to reach him and that he had made it an over-the-phone payment of like $491. But they were unable to accept it because the previous payment had been returned. And I said I had no way of getting hold of him. I've had to block him. I've had stalking problems. It's been he sounds sympathetic, I'm telling you, and I may seem horrible, but this is...
I'm just talking about his health.
You know,
and
but
in terms of him in love with you and all that, I don't know anything about that.
His health is a lot of it brought on himself with abusing alcohol and drugs. So anyway, he wasn't making the payment. They needed him to go into the bank branch to make the payment. So I emailed him. We had one thing that we could communicate on. I emailed him and said that this needed to happen. He sent me email saying, no, it's already been done, blah, blah, blah. I could check online and that it hadn't. So in April, it came to my attention. In April, it came to my attention that either it gets paid or it's going to go against me, and I would be held responsible.
Right.
So I went ahead and paid off the balance.
Okay.
I notified Scott. I've got emails here where he acknowledges that he owes me. I've got 2 checks that he wrote me for $1,000 each. And
Which I told you to hold till I told you to put them
anyway, so I cashed one of them on a Saturday. When he saw it hit his account, he stopped payment on both checks. You can see that he's got one written, 1 of 4, the other one's 2 of 4. And he's not,
Your
I
Honor,
would have
can I
accepted
address that
payment, I would have
particular issue?
accepted,
Hold on, sir.
I would have accepted payments over time, whatever. I've got nothing. I've got
Did
nothing
not
but
risk your credit, no doubt.
exactly. So anyway, I paid off the reserve line. All I'm asking for is to be reimbursed for the amount.
Sir?
When a business was given to me, I assumed a lot of liability, and I could give you the figure, but I don't feel it's necessary because I'm talking about $4,000. The $4,000 was the balance. The balance was $5,035 when it started. I had paid $1,500 on it, which the payment would show if you would have looked at the statement. And I had made other payments on it. Was I behind on it? We're a seasonal business, basically May through October, and the rest of the time it has revenues, but they're not in the same category. So I had every intention of paying it back. The bank told me they let me make a $120 a month payment at no interest, which you really can't turn down. I wanted everything paid off as soon as possible, but a lot of things happened. You know, I'm sorry you couldn't take off your coat, that you were so embarrassed. I don't care.
Come on, sir. You're going back to the wedding.
Well, she brought it up.
Taking
sir.
off her coat.
You know how it hurts.
Well, she did start off
It
with it.
hurt.
You're right. You're right. She did.
Yeah, and I could, yeah. So the $4,000, I have offered to give her all the equity in the house that I have and all the equity in the company to pay off any bills that might come up as if something were to happen to me shortly.
Okay. Let me tell you the problem you have. The moment that you became delinquent on your debt, the very first moment you breached the contract, they had a right to go after her, and she would become liable for that breach and her credit at risk and perhaps ruined. And so she had a legal right to protect herself from a credit problem or any other legal problem she might incur as a result of your breach.
Yes, and I understand that, and it was my understanding, which I will take care of when I get back, that her name wasn't on the account anymore, and I'll go talk to the banker who set the account up so that she wasn't. I didn't think she had anything to do with that, or I would have never did it to her. I wasn't doing it on purpose.
Now you're saying her name wasn't on the account. A minute ago you said you agreed to pay her.
Her name was not on the account at the time. Now, you know with divorces, they go after whoever they can.
Right, and they've gone after her as a result of your breach.
Okay, then I'll take full responsibility of it. I never once said that I wouldn't give her the money.
You didn't give it to her in a timely manner, so to protect herself, she paid it herself, and now she has a right to being reimbursed.
And I fully
I'll grant you that.
accept
$4,000 is the judgment. Good luck to you.
I'm sorry that it even came to this. I would have accepted payments. I just needed to be made
I
whole.
offered you payments. You know that. Ask your attorney. You have to
actually write the checks. It's not enough to promise me something. You have to write the checks.
You and I never had a contract. Anyway, you will be paid.
Okay.
So that's what I can do. And she does deserve it, and I have no problem with it.